Rest in peace to the GOAT, Kevin Conroy. He voice acted the best Batman on screen, whether it's live action or it's animated. Any single Batman that appeared on the TV screen, on the movie screen, any type of screen, even a iPhone screen, that Batman is inside the DCAU universe, man. And the show that really put Kevin Conroy on the map was Batman the Animated Series. In my honest opinion, it is still the best animated series of all time across every single genre of animation. So I just want to say this right now, rest in peace Kevin Conroy. But I also have to say fuck you to the DC universe, fuck you to Warner Bros for wasting Kevin Conroy's last roles as Batman on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and the trash Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths animated movies. And I just want to tell Warner Bros this: you guys wasted an opportunity to let Kevin Conroy be Batman. You guys wasted his last opportunity, man. So now that Kevin Conroy is unfortunately not with us anymore, rest in peace to that man. But I have some good news. I have some great news even. It seems that Kevin Conroy's last role was not in Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3 and in the trash Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. It seems that Kevin Conroy's last role was actually in this Netflix anime adaptation of the Devil May Cry video game franchise series. And this Devil May Cry Netflix adaptation just got released a couple of days ago at the time of me recording. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, I'll be fully transparent with everyone watching this video. I have never ever played the Devil May Cry video game franchise series. I have never seen it. I don't know the lore. I don't know the backstory of this franchise before I watched the Netflix adaptation. So if there are some changes to the Netflix adaptations that you guys don't like, I am completely ignorant. I am oblivious to all of that. But one thing that I do know is Kevin Conroy voiced somebody in this show, and every single time he talked, you felt his presence. Every single time he talked, you were literally in tunnel vision when you heard his voice, because you always will hear Batman speaking, even though he spoke somebody that in the show he is called Vice President William Baines. I was always hearing Bruce Wayne talking, man. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I wanted to check out Kevin Conroy's last performance in the show. But man, as I was watching the show, I was realizing that this show is actually peak. I was thinking to myself, I was scratching my head and I was thinking that damn, I should have actually locked in with the Devil May Cry video game franchise series long before watching this anime, because this anime, to be honest with you, is very, very great. And I'm seeing the reviews for this anime is at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb and a 8 out of 10 on IGN. And to be honest with you, I actually agree with all of these reviews and these ratings because this show is very entertaining. The animation of the show is high quality. I'm not even lying to you. Every fight scene, they really tried. You can tell the animators and the illustrators, they really tried. They locked in when they were illustrating this entire anime. And they also added a blend of 3D animation, but it's not really noticeable unless you're really like focusing on the animation, especially during the fight scenes. And I never was really interested in demonic stories like that, unless if it's like, you know, inside DC or Marvel. But if it's not really inside both franchises of DC and Marvel, I was never really interested in demonic storytelling. But this show, man, they crafted a story that is very good. And you're probably asking yourself, yo, big bro, when are you gonna stop yapping and when are you gonna tell us and narrate to us the real story of the show? And I will stop yapping. I will finally stop being being a yapper, so I can tell you guys why the show is so good. I can tell you guys why the animation is so good. And we see that the first episode, it starts off not with the main character yet, but it starts off with the main antagonist called the White Rabbit. And the White Rabbit, he orchestrates a break-in in the Vatican City Museum so that he can steal the Force Edge. And this Force Edge is basically a sword that was actually owned by this legendary demon called Sparta. And when he orchestrates this entire bank robbery, you know, obviously the bank robbery, it falls through, but the White Rabbit does not care because he already obtains this Force Edge, and he needs this Force Edge because he wants to open a rift and open a portal so that the demon realm, the demon world called Makai, can be officially integrated into our real world. And he needs two other things in order for this to happen. He needs two halves of this gem. I forgot what the gem is called, but basically it's a red and a blue gem. The blue gem, he obtains it later, but the red gem is being held by the main character, Dante. And Dante, he is a very skilled demon hunter. Dante, he is this funny dude that every time he beats someone up, or every time he beats up any demon and he officially hunts the demon, he always does his quips akin to Spider-Man. And one thing about Dante that he does not even know himself is that he is not fully human. He is not 100% human. That is something that I will say later in the video. But when we reach to Dante, we see him save this woman and her child from these demons. But after he saves this woman and her child, we now notice that the child is actually a shape-shifting demon that was all orchestrated by the White Rabbit. The White Rabbit wanted to lure Dante into a trap, but this trap ultimately failed. And the reason why he wanted to lure Dante into this trap is because another part of the White Rabbit's entire plan to successfully breach the portal that is needed for the demon world to come into the real world is so that the White Rabbit, he needs to obtain Dante's blood, but he also needs to obtain his family's lineage blood as well. So I will explain that later in the video. But then after Dante, you know, he successfully defeats all of these demons. He beats up the shape-shifting demon. The shape-shifting demon, he escapes and he will be seen later. We see that the US government, they have this facility protocol that handles with detecting and with stopping demons from infiltrating our world. And this entire protocol facility is called Arkham. And the doctor, his name is Dr. Fisher. He is a scientist and he is basically trying to study the interdimensional rifts, and he's trying to study all of the demons as well. And then we now meet the vice president of the entire United States, man. He's working under the president, but this vice president Baines, aka Kevin Conroy, aka the GOAT that voiced Batman, every time I heard him speak, I cannot help to think to myself that, man, I am literally listening to Batman. And this is crazy because, you know, he portrayed a great vice president. Kevin Conroy in the show, his voice acting really came off across as someone who is a maniacal person trying to do all of these crazy, disgusting and abhorrent acts in the name of God, because Vice President Baines is always preaching to everybody that all of this has a greater purpose. They're all doing this for the act of God. And I'm like, bro, you gotta chill, man. He's trying to be a zealot, but in my honest opinion, you would think that the White Rabbit is the real villain of the show. You would think that everyone else is the real villain of the show, even the demons, but it's actually Vice President Baines, man, because he now rounds up a lot of these demon hunters. He illegally kidnaps them, and then he now forces them to create this big team so that they can all hunt Dante, because they need Dante so that Dante can be the one to defend the entire world against the demon hunters, because Vice President Baines, he wants Dante to be a weapon for the United States instead of a freelancer who just takes money here and there. freelancer. And the reason why I'm saying a freelancer is because Dante, he was also working for this little stubby dude called Enzo. And Enzo was so funny in the show. Enzo, he is a sleazeball. He is a sleazy person that I'm pretty sure runs a prostitution ring or runs a drug ring or something like that. But he also hires like bounty hunters, and he hires mercenaries, and he also hires demon hunters. So Enzo eventually gets rounded up by the United States government so that Enzo can snitch on Dante's whereabouts, and Enzo can snitch on who Dante is as a person. And Enzo now tells Vice President Baines about Dante's brief backstory. He tells Baines that Dante is actually an orphan because his mom and his brother were killed by demons. So that's why Dante is trying to do the things that he's doing, because he is having this wish. He is trying to not break his promise that he promised his brother and his mom, and his promise was that he will hold on to the red amulet as a necklace. He will never let this necklace go away. So as this is happening, we meet all of the mercenaries and the demon hunters. Then we now meet this woman, and this woman, she is a badass in the show. Her name is Lieutenant Mary Arkham, and Lieutenant Mary Arkham, she is a no-nonsense lieutenant. She will do the job, she will do the orders, she will follow the orders to a T. She will never ever stray from the mission. So this new mission is to acquire and to capture Dante. But when all of these mercenaries, they break into Dante's house and they are trying to corner Dante, it's all fruitless because Dante, he dispatches every single one of these mercenaries one by one. Dante is showing that he is really not human. Every single time they're all telling Dante he's not human, Dante is not believing it. But man, Dante, if you're having the ability to instantly heal from bullet wounds, you're definitely not human, my nigga. So when Dante, he dispatches all of them, all of these mercenaries were all distractions. So the distraction could help Mary Arkham to come in, swoop in, grab the necklace and leave. And she actually does that. Even though Dante puts up a little struggle, she successfully takes the necklace, and she now takes Dante as prisoner as well. So now Dante, he wakes up and he is right by Enzo, and Enzo, you know, he's a funny dude. Enzo is trying to tell Dante that, look, I didn't tell anything. Well, maybe I did actually tell some things, but I only did it because, you know, I just didn't want to do that. But the thing about Enzo, I even forgot to say, Enzo was actually used as bait to lure Dante inside his own home. So Enzo and Dante are already met again before they both wake up as prisoners. But now both prisoners are going to be transported from Dante's home to the United States government so that they can run tests and they can use Dante as a weapon. But as this is happening, we're seeing that someone behind the scenes, aka the White Rabbit, is watching this entire transportation as well. So as the vehicles, the three United States government vehicles are basically driving on the highway, there is a roadblock that is orchestrated by the shapeshifter, that same shapeshifter that the White Rabbit tried to basically lure Dante to in the first episode. So the shapeshifter, he is basically masquerading as a police traffic agent, but then we now see all of these bombs now go off because it was a big trap. We're seeing these demons, man. There is one demon that's red that shoots fire from his hands, another demon that's blue that shoots wind. There's this green demon lady that she basically is like Swamp Thing or Wildvine from Ben 10, and then there is this big dark demon that he flies, he has a sword. He's the strongest out of all of these demons so far, and this trap successfully works. They kill a lot of the United States patrols that are basically overseeing this transportation. Then as the White Rabbit's plan successfully worked, the White Rabbit, he kills Dr. Fisher. Then the White Rabbit, he now drives with the amulet from Dante, but Dante, he's driving on a motorbike to chase them. So now we now see this big chase scene, and Dante, Dante is fighting all of these demons. He's basically holding his own. He is beating up the red demon that shoots fire. He's beating up the blue demon, but the one that's a very formidable opponent is the black demon that he is just flying. And you know, the fight scene is very good. I really like the animation that was being showcased when we're seeing Dante. They're swerving through traffic, man. But one thing that will be a big key factor in the next couple of episodes is the shapeshifter, aka Plasma. This shapeshifter, he takes form of a Darkcom agent because his powers works like this. The person that he looks into, the person he is trying to take the body of, he needs that person to be alive in order to take their body and to shapeshift into them. So now as this happens, we see that Dante, he now gets exploded because Mary Arkham, she implanted a chip into Dante when Dante was actually arrested prior to this, and this chip will cause Dante's head to explode if he reaches, I think it was 1,000 meters from the location that she intended. But this happens and Dante now, he is incapacitated, he is hurt, and he is wounded badly, man, and he has a big scar right across from his face. So now that this happened, Dante has been taken prisoner, and we see another demon shapeshifted into someone that is working for the US government, and they now successfully take Vice President William Baines and every single one of his cabinet hostage. Now Dante, Enzo, William Baines, and everyone that was inside that same room are all hostage, and they are basically on this plane. And the White Rabbit, you know, he tells and he instructs the two brothers, the red and the blue brother, and another demon as well, to basically relay this message for Dante. The White Rabbit wants Dante to unlock his true self. He wants Dante to become who he really is supposed to be, and Dante does not know this. He doesn't really know what the White Rabbit is talking about, but the White Rabbit already alluded to Dante that Dante is the son of Sparta. Now Sparta is a legendary demon that he was at first an evil demon that was basically following the orders of Mundus, but Sparta, he eventually broke free. He eventually rebelled against Mundus, and he now waged a legendary war against Mundus. But Sparta, he now caused something that was kind of a portal rift that prevented the demons from coming into the earth realm. He prevented the strong demons from coming, but the little demons could still enter. But Sparta eventually now met Dante's mom. You know, he slept with his mom, and basically the mom gave birth to two brothers, Dante and the other brother. But Sparta, he left Dante's mom. So when Dante, he is remembering this, well, not really remembering because he never saw Sparta in his life, but he is realizing this, and the White Rabbit wants Dante to awaken his true dormant abilities of being a real demon, because he is part demon. And once this is happening, simultaneously we're seeing that Mary Arkham, her entire fleet has been killed. They have been slaughtered by all of the demons inside the White Rabbit's sanctuary building. And inside this building, the White Rabbit, he is holding a lot of the good innocent demons, the good demon refugees hostage in this building, because he offered them a way of salvation. And this salvation basically was a double-edged sword, because now these demons, they have to do whatever he wants, and these demons are now subjugated to hellacious experiments. But man, once this is happening, we're seeing that Mary Arkham, man, she is trying her best to not get killed, because every single one of her teammates were killed, and she now reaches these demon refugees. She is trying to kill the demon refugees, but they explain their circumstances to her. So Mary, she emphasizes with them. So once the cavalry comes, she tells the cavalry that this cavalry. They need to bring these demon refugees to a safe place. They need to transport them to somewhere where they can be safe. But this does not happen because simultaneously the plane ride that is basically transporting William Baines, Enzo, and Dante, it explodes because Dante, he unleashes his full power, and then the bombs now detonated, and Dante, he is fighting all of these demons. Dante's true form looks sick, in my honest opinion. It looks very, very good, and the red wings that are just like gigantic, man. You can tell the animators, they really were cooking when they were illustrating Dante's true form. But Dante, he dispatches the demons easily, but as this is happening, we see that Dante, he actually simultaneously saves all of the people that were inside and that were held prisoners. But when this is happening simultaneously as well, I'm saying simultaneously a lot because that's what happened in this episode. Both scenes were happening at the same time. We see that the reinforcements that were called by Mary Arkham, they were given new orders by William Baines, and William, he tells these reinforcements to slaughter all of these demons. So we are seeing that the Darkham, they are evil, they are very, very maniacal, and they are the true enemies in this entire show. And Mary Arkham, I won't really go over her flashback because that might take too long, but Mary, she is an orphan as well because her dad, he was trying to find a good experiment so that he can protect the family from demons. But once he found the true experiment, he was becoming irate, he became very evil, he was putting his hands on the wife, and then when he now actually drank the full experiment, he killed the wife, he mauled her, and he mauled her in front of Mary. He tried to kill Mary as well, but the fire burned her dad. So now Mary is an orphan. But that's a little sidetrack. I just wanted to tell Mary's backstory as well. But then we now see something that is messed up, man. All of the refugees were slaughtered, and it really proves that William Baines is the true enemy. And the real enemy of the show is really Darkham. And you're probably asking, wait, isn't it the White Rabbit? Isn't it the demons? No, it's really Darkham, because when we see the White Rabbit's origin, when we see his backstory, man, we realize and we emphasize with the White Rabbit, because the White Rabbit, when he was a young kid, he was an orphan as well, and he was being abused by his foster home. So then he sees a portal by his foster home, but as a kid he was a fan of the Alice in the Wonderland stories. That's why he even donned the moniker of the White Rabbit. But he now sees this portal that transports him into the demon realm, and when he's in the demon realm, you know, he finds a new family of demons. He finds a great family, but the living conditions are too harsh in the demon realm. So when he now grows up with the demons, they have to leave because they don't want to die in this realm. So when they leave and, you know, the time has already passed, we see that the infestation of the demons has become too much, that the US government, they are actually doing real severe protocols and slaughtering these demons. So simultaneously, when the White Rabbit and his demon family, they come inside the human universe, coincidentally, it's so crazy that Mary Arkham was one of the fleet soldiers that was there as well, and their mission, their task was to kill any demon. And at first the White Rabbit was trying to basically tell Mary that, look, I am a human, just listen to me. But then this gigantic monster came out of the portal and was slaughtering the demons there. So this caused the Darkham soldiers to shoot and kill the White Rabbit's entire family. And then Mary, she even threw a big bomb that just destroyed the building, and this caused the White Rabbit to become a maniacal evil person. The White Rabbit now basically stitched and sewed his face and his skin, and he now donned the White Rabbit mask, and his chest was basically pumping with the magic from the demon world, because as long as he has this potion on his chest, he will not die, and he will buy time so that he cannot die just yet. yet. So when we see this backstory, we now know that Arkham and Vice President William Baines are the true enemies. They are the true antagonists of the show. And as the episodes are going on, we see that the White Rabbit, he now successfully wins because he lures Dante to this trap, because the White Rabbit, he has the first sword, he has the 2 amulets, and something that was not really shown up until now is that Dante's brother is not dead. Dante's brother is actually alive, and he is still alive in the demon realm. So the White Rabbit has struck a deal with Dante's brother, and this deal was that if the White Rabbit can get both amulets, the brother will gift the White Rabbit with his own blood. So now the White Rabbit, his plan has worked. He has all of the blood, all of the amulets, the sword as well, and he just needs Dante's sword. But Mary, she tries to not let Dante go. She shoots Dante in the leg and tries to trap him inside a big United States government vehicle, but that eventually fails because when Mary was getting her ass beat by the demons, Dante, he breaks out of the vehicle and he now comes to the scene. A big fight ensues. This fight was temporarily halted when the White Rabbit brought Dante into the demon realm, but then the fight continues, and as the fight is continuing, we're seeing that Dante, he is trying not to bleed, but as the fight is going on, Dante eventually bleeds. That's all that the White Rabbit needs. But the White Rabbit reveals himself to Mary. He shows Mary that I am the experiment that you created. I am the person that you made. How do you like seeing what you created, Mary? You created this monster. And Mary, she is realizing that every single thing that she has been taught was all a lie, but she is still loyal to the Arkham cause. The White Rabbit actually died temporarily because he fell into the water, but then, you know, he is roided up with the magic from the demon realm, so he now resurrects himself and he now turns into this hulking brute like figure. And now his new plan, or his continuation of his original plan, now comes into effect because he successfully creates the portal so that the demons could come from the demon realm, from Makai, and the invasion and the infestation could start. But this invasion is actually short-lived because when the last final fight between the White Rabbit and Dante and Mary Arkham is happening, we're seeing that even though the White Rabbit has the strength, he has the upper hand, Mary and Dante, they have the skills and they have the battle IQ so that they can actually successfully defeat the White Rabbit. And Dante, he now powers up and he becomes his final form again, so that he uses the strength to slice through the White Rabbit's abdomen and his chest, and this effectively kills the White Rabbit once and for all. But you would think the series is done, you would think the season is done. It's not, because we now see another reason why the Arkham are the real antagonists. We see why Kevin Conroy's Vice President Baines is the real antagonist, because there is a mole throughout the entire show that was working for the White Rabbit. But when Vice President William Baines discovers this, he has the mole killed. He now uses the device that the mole had, and this device is a portal to Makai, and he now opens this portal. He sends a lot of US government fighter jets to bombard and to destroy the demons inside this realm. He kills a lot of the demons. He causes a mass genocide to all of these demons, and then he now has the US government go there. They take any resources, they take anything that is of value, and now the US government, they have laid claim to Makai. And this is crazy, man. The US government in the show are exactly like how they are in the real world. So then the series ends when we see that Dante's brother, he is going to be the person to stop all of this is happening, but that will most likely happen in season 2. But man, Kevin Conroy, it's sad and it's crazy that this is his last ever role role. His last ever role, in my honest opinion, did justice to his career, to his legacy. His role as Vice President William Baines did justice, because every time he spoke on screen, you could tell that someone important was speaking. You could tell that Kevin Conroy was delivering a great performance, man. So like I said earlier, fuck Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, fuck Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3, and fuck Warner Bros for even telling and allowing Kevin Conroy to waste his last 2 DC roles on those 2 trash franchises, man. But that's the end of the video, but I'm out. Peace.